This is episode 84 of the HYROX Coaching Podcast. In this episode, I sit down with my athlete, Lucy Procter again, and we preview the Phoenix Major that is coming up in a couple days. We go over the solos, the doubles, and just some thoughts, as well as I get her opinion on the new point structure system. Let's make hybrid fitness work for you. How's it going today, Lucy?
It's going well, thank you. Back so soon.
Back. Very quick.
I'm back.
Quick turnaround. It's just my normal co-host is preparing for a big race that you are sitting out of this week.
I am.
Which, sad, but of course we understand it.
Yeah, sad but necessary. I think you just can't keep training so hard like year round, and I honestly haven't taken a proper break from structured training maybe like ever for more than about a week. So yeah, it was the right time.
So tell me, have you been enjoying your time not specific for the race?
Yes and no. I think it's been nice to have the option to be a bit more relaxed about things. And in hindsight, it's obviously a good thing because you can't continue a race prep block for like 12 months. It's just not possible. And obviously the HYROX season's demanding, and I take my hat off to anyone that is racing all the majors and regionals and worlds. But I promised myself after Chicago that if I qualified in the first half of the season that I would take some time off because I did not do that after Worlds. And I was starting to feel it, and I would rather take a step back now than burn out in May and have a shocker at World Champs. So yeah, I know like what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? I know rationally that it's exactly what I should be doing. But some days are tough, and I'm second guessing myself, thinking I should be doing a hard structured block or race in Phoenix or like be in peak condition right now. And yeah, it's a little battle some days, but yeah, I think it's nice to now be moving into some more structure, and I think I'm finally ready to push to race again. So yeah.
You're ready to get hurt again.
Yeah,
Uh,
let's go.
so
You've already done that. You've been giving me these brick sessions, and
well, we
we know
talked
how the
about
one on
that though.
Sunday went.
Those are those are just a little different, you know. Those are just a little
They're fun
fun
though.
things.
They're honestly like
I'm
there's some
really
like top
glad.
sessions.
Yeah, I'm really glad you got Tom in to do that. Like,
Yeah, he enjoyed it too, I think.
did he do the aerobic piece before, or did
No,
he
so
just do the EMOM?
last week he did the aerobic piece, but he did the run part on the Echo bike, and then we moved into the EMOM and he did one round, so like 7 times every three.
Yeah.
And then stopped. This week he did his row thresholds first, straight into the full 42 minutes. So yeah. But
It
I
just
like
gets
the sessions. These are like some of my favorite ever sessions. Like it really like I screwed up. I drank too much coffee before the one next Sunday. But as that aside, they're really fun sessions to do.
he sent me a picture of you afterwards laying on the ground and you looked almost bored. And I told him she looks bored. Like it wasn't hard.
I
It's a
think at that point
progression. So
I was filling in my notes to you saying, well, I have drank too much coffee and I had a stitch for the entire hour and 42-minute duration of that session.
that's fantastic. I love hearing these stories. It's great. So the big question is, are you gonna feel um any like anxiety or like I want to get out there, it's time, like after this weekend you're watching the races, are you gonna be like, all right, yeah, I'm ready to go again? Or is it gonna be more like, okay, I that's where I'm at now. Here we go into the next block. Here I come. Um London.
I think somewhere in between. Like
Somewhere in between.
I spent much of January thinking I just am in no position to be on a start line soon. I just want to chill. Like Melbourne took a lot out of me. We all know like how much of a mental battle it was into that race, and that plus the jet lag plus a double race weekend, like two back-to-back elite races in 2 days. I think I've never done before. Um, and yeah, it took a lot out of me, and I really, really, really needed a rest. And so I took the decision to miss Phoenix because I knew that I just mentally wasn't going to be ready. And I think had I have committed to the race, and if I was out in Phoenix right now preparing, I would not be ready. I would be thinking, oh my God, this is too soon to be doing this. So yeah, we might get to Saturday. Oh, sorry, not Saturday, Thursday it is. And I might be like, oh, it's everyone's race day, and I kind of miss that feeling a little bit. But I really don't think that's actually enough to outweigh like the kind of coming off the back of a bit of mental and physical recovery. And I'm ready for the next one. I think the thing that kind of gets me is, people are getting fast, and those 3 seconds are hanging over me. And I want to go sub 60, and I think like in the last, I guess, week or so, it's been like, you know, I want to push into the next block, and I really want to go for it now. And obviously, we know times don't matter, but it's a barrier that I really want to break. And um, I know it will happen when the time's right and when I'm ready. Could I not have just not broken in Melbourne? But no, in all seriousness, I think yeah, it'll be a little bit of race day FOMO, I think, but also I'm quite sure of myself on the path I'm on. I know what my goal is this season, and I know which races we're targeting. And I think, I handed myself a recovery break on a silver platter in Melbourne, so it would be so stupid to not take that. Um, and ultimately, at this point, apart from world champs, it's just eyes on preparing for next season. We've got these like points system released now, and so we know what we need to do. So yeah, kind of one eye on that and one eye on Stockholm.
So that's a good point. I wanted to ask you about the point system, just initial reaction to it, because it just came out this week. So I just want to hear your thoughts on it. And you can be brutal if you want to be, even though I got to work on it. I'm fine with hearing anything you want to say.
No, I think it's only good things, really. Like, I am all for getting rid of time-based qualifications. We know that there are some courses that are just ridiculous, and there's been huge discrepancies in conditions of courses, and you see people at various races with like 10 women going sub 62, and then other like elite races like Vegas last year, for example, where like most of us were 3-ish minutes slower than usual. And it's just like, I think it will move away from people comparing themselves and other athletes so easily because it's the natural thing to do when the qualification system's time-based. Um, I think 5 results is, it's a lot of races, and I've seen a little bit of people complaining about that. Honestly, I think it's difficult to find the number of races that is, I guess, the correct number so that people can't just get in quickly. Because as it stands with 2 results, you could just break in like a month. You
Yeah.
could just race back-to-back weekends, but 5 results takes time, and you have to be winning. Like you either have to be doing very well in elite races or you have to be winning regionals. And I think it will really, yeah, I mean, I believe that whatever the system is, the best athletes will always get into the Elite 15. But I think this new system is a lot less playable. And will, yeah, I think we'll see much of the top 15 stay the same. Um, but yeah, I think it's much, much less playable. And I believe in it, and I think it's great.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear you say that. Some of the arguments so far that I've heard against it are like, oh, it's too many races, 5 races, all this jazz. I don't think people realize it. Like, okay, I put out, where people rank right now as of September to current. And so some people only have like 2 or 3 races. There are a few people that have 5 races since September, right? Like that's a ton. Um, but as more people start to fill out and reach that fifth number, they start to get their five. Um, it's going to level out. You'll see a lot more spread through the ranks, I believe, as well as like it's going to get tighter. I think now that people are aware of the point system, it's going to absolutely tighten up, and those it's going to start to squeeze out. Like, look, we're assuming that in order to make the Elite 15 right now, somebody's going to need to do like two pro race wins and like 3 seconds or like 2 seconds and a third with like a high percent of winner, like something like that is what's going to take to actually get in there. Or like two wins, 2% of winner, and then like a second. Like it's going to take some combination of that, but it realistically will probably take somebody two wins or at a minimum one win in a bunch of seconds to break in, right? Which is what you want. You want to be like, you're not the people that are racing in the Elite 15 aren't out there taking fifth, sixth, seventh place in pro races consistently, no matter what the percent of winner is on those races. Um, so what I've heard though is like, oh, it's too many races, but really you're looking at like even people right now. So just September to September on the men's side, there's there's 9 men that already have 5 races since September. There's another 8 men who have four, and then there's all the way down to 18 more that already have three. So they have 9 months to get two more
Yeah.
races. And then there's like the people that have two and stuff that have like either only raced both the majors or they raced a major and a pro. So like, and if you're an elite athlete, and so far you've only pretend like you're an elite athlete and all you did was Hamburg. That was the only race you've done so far. And then you're going to do Phoenix. And then you're probably going to do your regional, right? And then maybe you do Warsaw, but let's say you don't do Warsaw, but then you go do World Championships. Then you only have one more race to reach your fifth.
Yeah.
And you can
And
do any pro race. Like, yeah.
most of us are racing at least one pro race
Uh,
as a training run or something.
Yeah.
I think most of us are racing 5 times in a year already. It just might not feel like it. And seeing those stats at this point in the season where a lot of people only have 2 races under their belt, but I think most of us race more in the second half of the season. I mean, it makes sense anyway. It's literally like
Yeah.
3 months, like October, November, December, and then January through June. It's like twice as long.
What
It's
I'm
just
excited about is this might get some of the elite athletes out into the pro races more, which means
yeah,
people that do right now, they're like, oh, I won three late races in this last year. It's like, yeah, well, now the elite athletes, if they're in that race, everybody's knocked down a spot. The percent of winner becomes less,
yeah,
you know? And people who say, oh, well, I'm gonna go travel the world to get mine. It's like, okay, you gotta do that 5 times. And
yeah, and have a stacked
realistic
field.
and realistically, you have to do that 5 times out of your country, and you basically have to be the only person in the world doing it. Because if you're not the only person in the world doing it, and there's three or four people trying to do it, and you guys overlap in races, you're not getting the points that you need. So it's like
Yeah.
it really turns into balancing the races.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there are certain groups of people that benefit slightly. I think, I'll say this as a European-based athlete myself. I think, there are loads of races in Europe, but I'm aware that there will be more in like America and APAC region as well. Um, for me, it's really easy to hop on a 1 hour flight somewhere. And I'm grateful for that. But at the same time, if they're going to be bringing in more races in other regions, then you know,
Yeah.
and also I think as someone that's gonna get into the top 15, you shouldn't have to travel too much outside of what you're already doing. I think
Yeah.
most of us that are already in the top 15 expect to have to travel across continents, because that's where the majors are. And so it's just kind of normal. And if you're doing well enough at the majors, then you're getting enough points already.
Yeah. And
So
realistically, the elite athletes, you're looking at there's 6 elite races a year right now, right? The four majors, your regional, and world champs. That's 6 races. So if you're doing them all, you got your bases covered, and you even have one sacrificial race in there. If you're not doing them all, and you're missing one or two, all you got to do is whatever the closest race to you is, your sphere of influence.
Yeah.
And like depending on where people are, that sphere is tighter or smaller. And basically you go win your local race, and all of a sudden that does like increase not only just your profile within your area, but it lets you be part of the community too.
Yeah. I think
Uh,
we will still end up with certain races where you end up with a stacked start line, a bit like we have right now. And like, I think you can pretty much bet on Berlin being, pretty much half or more of the Elite 15. Um,
so speaking of, because like, um, I heard someone say this. I don't want to be misconstrued. They asked me a question, and I was like, I don't think there's going to be very many tiebreakers if there is, like, because the point system, it goes down to they can go down as many decimal points, really, but like it's going to go down to like at least the hundredth place in the decimal points. So if somebody has a percent of winner score in there, like if you in order to get a tie, it's going to be pretty hard. So I think I told
yeah.
him it was like 1 in 1,000, right? Because that's what the hundredth place would be if you're tied all the way across the board. Now, the tiebreaker they talked about becomes strength of field. And just to like give a reason as to why, I did the strength of field for the races this last weekend and for what the Phoenix Major is going to be. And this is using the points that have been accumulated up to that point. So Manchester this last weekend, and these are just the people that like I quickly went and was like, who has points already? Okay, there might be a little bit more than this, but it's not going to change a lot. Who has points already? Okay, uh, five of the top eight already had points in Manchester, and five of the top eight already had points in Amsterdam. Just looking at that race, did you look? Were you like, which one do you think would have been weighted heavier?
I did look. I think potentially Amsterdam, right?
So
Sure.
the difference in their ghost point scores for each of those races, Amsterdam scored 867.29 points. That's the amount of points that were brought into the race. And I just did
Yeah.
this like really quickly. There could have been more people that I missed, and I don't know who has an athlete license, so it's probably not 100%, but this is an example. 867.29 points. Manchester had 857.73 points. There's really a difference of less than 10 points, 9.5 points between the two races.
Yeah.
So 800 plus points, 850 plus points, and the difference is less than 10.
For clarity on this tiebreaker, so
Yeah.
say for example, two people have 525 points for argument's sake. Um, yeah, 525 points on the nose. Um, so the strength of field, is it taken from, do you compare athlete A's best race, like result, with athlete B's best race result, or is it the entire points
No, I
available
think
across
it's
all
I think it's
five
the
races?
entire score of their races versus the entire score of
Yeah.
the other athletes'
Okay,
races. And
fine.
just for an example, the Phoenix Major, to show what the difference would be.
Surely there's like 15,000 points on that start
Yeah, so if you took
line.
so the winner of Amsterdam got 105 points.
Oh,
Their
not
tie
15,000, like 8,000 or
Yeah.
something.
Well, like
Yeah.
yeah, so the winner of Amsterdam got 105 points, but their tiebreak score is 867.29. The fifth place at the Phoenix Major would get 105 points. Their tiebreak is 7,291.22, right? So you're talking almost an order of it's nine, almost an order of 10 magnitude in terms of the
Yeah.
difference between how strong the major field is versus the traditional pro race, which is why the majors had weighted points at the top, but they're also a strong tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So fifth place in a major, yeah, it's the same points as a pro race, but a fifth place at a major when it comes to the tiebreaker is going to be more than
Yeah.
a pro race win.
Yeah. Surely if you are someone that has raced that has an Elite 15 result in your points and
Yeah,
you end up in a tiebreak against someone who's never raced Elite 15, there's no way that you can't have a stronger strength of field, surely,
right.
even from one Elite
I
15
mean,
race.
unless it
Because
was like Berlin last year that had like 30 men that like were all close
yeah,
or on the nose, or those people all had points. They were known people. Like
yeah,
in that case, that field is going to be strong, but remember, only the top eight get points. So
yeah.
all right. So this is not going to be a podcast about the top um, point system. I just was curious about that. Little refresh there. Lucy, we're going to talk about Phoenix. We're going to preview Phoenix. Have you seen the lineups?
I have. Yep.
All right. Do you want to start with men or women?
Uh, let's start with the women.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ladies first. All right. So I'm going to go through these and then let's just see if we can hit some storylines here. So the lineup as listed is I'm looking at the Rocks Life's post. So Lauren Weeks, my wife, and then Linda Meyer, Joanna Wittrick, Vivian Tafudo, Emily Dahman, Seka Arning, Jess Petro, Melanie Maher, Gabriella Nakora Baker, Lena Putters, Manuel Garcia Camparos, Ellie Stenfors, Charlie Searle, Gabriella Moriarty, and Lauren Stockley. So some notable names missing just to start with, Lucy Procter and Sinead Bent. Um, and then I actually don't know who else would have declined out of this.
Cat.
Kat, yeah, I think she posted something about being hurt.
Yeah, she got a little I think it was a back injury. I think she's on the mend, but yeah, sad to see.
And then also going down, it would have been Zara Piergianni and Sophia Parvizi Wayne. Yeah, that looks like those would have been it, which means next up, if there are any roll downs, would be Tanya Strohschneider. So that's the lineup. Anything that sticks out to you? What are storylines are we looking at for the women's race right now?
Honestly, no shocks to the lineup. I think maybe some people shocked in me declining my place. I've seen a couple of people ask where I am. I guess I haven't been that vocal about the fact that I'm not lining up and why. But I don't want to make this all about me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's any shocks on the start line, to be honest. I think there's a lot of people that still need a qualifying spot for Stockholm. Um, and I can't call this one. I really can't.
Okay, let's start with the qualifying spots. So there's four women already qualified. That's Lauren, Vivian, Joanna, and Jess. Um, which I think it's I think it's interesting. There's six people qualified for Worlds so far, and five of those six women are coached by me and my usual partner here, JK, which is just awesome. So obviously the four that I just named plus yourself. So the only one not uh, would be Sinead.
Yeah.
Um, so far qualified for Worlds. So we're about to get three more. Um, Unfortunately, I don't have any other athletes unqualified in this women's race, so no more for me.
Team flex.
And same thing for JK. All of our women are qualified, so we're looking at three more women about to get their spots. So outside of those four, who do you think has the best spot? It means that this is really a race of 11 women.
Yeah. I think the three spots should come from four women,
I agree.
barring
I'm
any
gonna,
bad results or upsets. I think those four women are Emily, Seka, Linda, and Lena.
yeah,
I,
probably
I
pretty
think
close. Yeah.
I think the three spots should come from those four women. But I can't tell you which three. That's the
Yeah, I
thing.
that would be really hard to call. I would say the same thing. Those are probably just strength of field wise, what we've seen from them in the past. It's probably favoring those four women. Just especially after Hamburg. We don't know how they travel though. I think this is Lena's first time in the United
Yep.
States. We saw what happened to Seka last year in Las Vegas.
Yep.
So we don't know how the travel handles her, but Linda last year, it was this time of year where she really like she nailed her spot. She got third in
Yeah.
Vegas. Emily just put down a good time. It looks like she's recovering. I believe she had an injury over the summer, so like she's coming into her own. I would be pretty surprised if not that it can't happen because somebody that I think not would just be a dark horse, but somebody I really think could actually break into that and take one of these spots is Gabriella Nakora Baker. She's been over to the US twice
Yeah.
already this season and nailed the exact same time 2 times in a row. And I think
Yeah.
if she nails a 60:54, which is the exact same time she got in both those races in this race, that's probably a qualifying time.
Yeah.
If she can
Yeah,
hit
I
it
think
here.
yeah, I think the three spots should go to those four women, but I think it's totally open for upsets because of how many variables there are in these races. I mean, I this time a year ago was my first Elite 15 race, and it was in Las Vegas. And I remember the travel absolutely kicking my backside. Like I really like my legs felt like they were still crossing the ocean somewhere on a flight. And yeah, I struggled. I mean, I still took fifth and I took my qualifying spot, but I executed the race how I wanted to. And there were a few things that went my way which enabled me to qualify. Um, but I think it's really going to come down to who has the best race execution on the day and who can put it together this week in terms of jet lag recovery, taper, and who's trained hard over Christmas. It's not easy.
Yeah, I think what really plays into a factor here is we also saw that the elite race this time is not on that separate course. It's basically an integrated pro race.
Yeah,
Um, Probably might be a little bit long for the than the pro race that's going to be there, just because of the way it's set up. Not long in terms of like running long, but not even like optimized the same way. It's optimized for viewing. I don't know if it's optimized for the same way that like the pro race looks like might be. So I'd say in terms of this race going out, race for position, not for time, because
yeah,
that's what's going to matter anyway. Between they got to think about it too. That, and I've had this conversation when we get to the men. I'll talk about it, but realistically, it's probably going to roll down to about seventh place.
yeah,
Like you
yeah.
don't need to be going out trying to win this race. You need to go out smart for a qualifying spot. Once you get that, go mess around in the next race.
Yeah, I mean, I
Play it
think
smart.
people still focus so much on getting a fast time, and I think there's a few people making their debut and a few people on their second race, and I think one thing that you see people that break into the Elite 15 and stay there and execute good first races and get these qualifying spots and make an impression, they're very sure of themselves and their race strategy. And I'm speaking for myself here a little bit, so I don't mean to to toot my own horn, but yeah, I think it's really, really easy to go into these races and run off with the lead, thinking, "Oh my God, this is so fast," because it is, and to feel like you are gonna have no chance if you run your own race, and it's just not the case. I always say to myself and believe that even though these are like it's a race, you're racing for position, you should treat it like a time trial. Because if you treat it like a time trial and you run the strategy that's going to get you the fastest time, by default, you will get your highest possible finish because you will run your fastest possible time. So do that, and then by all means, by the time you get to the farmer's carry onwards, then start racing. Take stock of where you are, but you're not going to get there in the best position possible if you burn yourself out in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, if you're burning up, um, then you're gonna ruin only your own race. Now, there is something to be said about like racing and like, if I push this person a little bit here, maybe I can handle it a little bit better and they'll burn up, which gives me an advantage later in the race, especially if it's somebody you plan on competing with.
Yeah,
If you're one of those people that's outside of those already qualified, you're fighting in that seventh, eighth position, or just fighting with the third or fourth person unqualified right now in the race, then hey, maybe there's something to be said about let's push them here so that
yeah.
make them overwork so I can have them later.
I think it's a tough balance. I think
Yeah.
it's tough, right? When you've not like you step on the start line, and for people making their debut, they haven't raced. like most of this field ever head to head. Um, so you can do your research and watch their races and have a look at their splits to figure out where their strong points may be and where you might be able to push them a little bit harder. Um, and where they might try to push you, but ultimately you're never going to know how that feels until you actually race them head to head. And there's a lot of strength and power that comes in experience because some of these women on the start list I've raced 4 or 5 times now, and I know exactly what they're going to do when I race them.
Mhm.
Unless they're trying something completely new and surprise me and the rest of the field. But generally, you get to know how people race, and then you can really race. So yeah, I think it's a tough balancing act. You've got to do what you got to do to get the spots, but um, yeah, you have to race in the right way for you, and everyone's got different strengths, and everyone likes to race different ways. So you got to just be sure of yourself and do your own thing.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, any other storylines on the women here before we get to the four that are already qualified in the race overall? Just looking at it, I mean, all these people absolutely deserve to be here. I was pretty impressed with the Melbourne performance of the rookie Ellie Stenforce.
Mm.
I thought she had a good performance. I think she posted something as well that she was like, I don't know if it was a hernia or something. She had like an abdominal issue the day before the
Yeah,
race,
I saw that.
and still came out, executed really well, ended up in seventh. In your first major, if you end up in the top half, like that's a good race.
Yeah. I mean, I
Um,
finished seventh in Hamburg,
yeah,
so,
there you go. Um,
Um,
I think that's great. I'd like to see Linda um, secure her spot, get back in. Just
yeah,
like I think this is the time of year she does it. If it's not here, she's gonna be a problem in London. I mean, she's gonna be a problem in London
yeah.
anyway. But I'm pretty confident she'll get in at Warsaw if it comes down to that.
Yeah, I think so. I think she's quite measured about how she approaches the season. She's got some of the most experience out of all of us behind her. And yeah, she's world champ last season. You can't take that away from her. So yeah, it would be great to see her take her spot here. And I think, if she has a repeat of Vegas last year, she's going to have no problem.
Yeah. What's interesting to me is this race is in the US and it's not West Coast, it's mountain US, so middle third, but it's still there's only two US athletes and both of them are already qualified. That's Lauren and Vivian. Outside
Yeah,
of Lauren and Vivian, there's only three athletes coming from the other side of the Pacific. That's Joe, Jess, and Gabrielle, Nakora Baker. Everybody else is traveling from Europe. So everybody's under the same conditions,
yeah,
basically,
yeah.
traveling here to race. Going to be really interesting to see that there's ten of these women, um, and 10 out of the 11 women that haven't qualified yet are all coming over from Europe.
Yeah, and the travel's tough. Like I
Yeah.
think there was one direct flight from London when I was looking and weighing up whether I would go or not. And I think there was one direct flight and it was crazy expensive. Um, and aside from that, all the flights are connecting. So you're spending a lot of time in the air coming over.
Nice. Okay. So before we get to the podium, I want to ask who are the biggest could break the podium, could wind up on the podium that you don't expect here. So I think obviously the four women we talked about, I'd say biggest threat actually is probably Emily Dahmen and uh, as somebody that could wind up on the podium um, from the unqualified women right now.
Yeah, I think, I'm going to call the podium as I in no particular order because I really can't call it.
I'll call it
Uh,
particular order.
in no particular order, Vivian, Joe, and Lauren. I think if I was a betting woman, then those are the three that I would put on the podium. But as we've seen, anything can happen.
Yeah.
I think they're all, Joe wants the Grand Slam. She's, doing amazing this season so far. She travels well. She's got the experience, and yeah, I mean, like she's having a great season. Vivian, second in Hamburg, amazing. Obviously, she and Lauren have raced recently with that doubles. That was fast, very fast. They broke the world record. She's obviously also in incredible shape. I don't know where Vivian's based, but obviously she's in the States, so she's not really going to have much time difference, if any.
She's on the East Coast.
Okay, so a few hours.
It's about a 5 hour flight.
Yeah, but like jet lag wise, it's
It's
not
2 hours back for
yeah,
her.
so it's nothing. She's got that, and then of course Lauren,
But
like
Vivian does go to sleep early, and this race starts at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time, which is 9:30
okay,
p.m. usually for her.
okay. Well, I mean, there's that. But at least it's not like the 2 a.m. Actually, no, it's not 2
Yeah.
a.m. 'cause it's the what? Oh, 7 p.m.
Seven,
race.
so 7:30 Mountain Time. You're in
All right,
Copenhagen
so
right now, so that would
that's
be 8 hours. So you're looking at 3:30 in the morning for
yeah, but
Central
yeah,
European time, or 2:30 in the morning for
correct.
any Britain
Yeah,
time, British time.
yeah. I mean, I remember how that felt in Vegas, and it's tough.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you've got Lauren, and you guys are nearly on home turf.
Yeah, 4 hour drive.
Exactly. And I know she wants it. And, Vegas last year, exactly the same time, her performance there was dominant. Yeah, she is my inspiration. So, yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping for a really good race here. I do have to say that we approach this season the same as past seasons, which if anybody goes back and look, you can see just Lauren's performance between September to December. Usually it changes up between January to March. Just for example, September to December of 2022 was right after she gave birth. She had one race. She ran like a 104 in Anaheim, followed it up in January with a 101 in Maastricht to win the European Championships.
Yeah.
And then 3 weeks later, after moving and illness, still went and did really well in Chicago. And then in 2023, in um, January or in September to in 2023, from September to December, she was second at the first two majors in Chicago and Stockholm. Came out in January to run Vienna, and then followed that up with DC, two major wins.
Yeah.
Um, in 2024, took first in Amsterdam, which honestly we were like, wow, like that was amazing. We didn't know where her fitness was because it was that's what we do at the first part of the season is usually just a big general block build. Um, and she took first in Amsterdam, second in Hong Kong, came out in 2025, wins Vegas, sets a world record in Glasgow. Um, and then this year, 2026, right? Same thing, big general block build, third in Hamburg, secured the qualifying spot, which is always the goal, and second in Melbourne. And then we're excited to go compete in Phoenix. You never know where it's going to be, but I'm excited for her. I saw somebody comment that Vivian is inconsistent or hasn't done anything with, which I think is just absolutely wild of a statement. Vivian, if anybody doesn't know, I'm going to read off some things about Vivian here. Vivian at the World Championships has taken fourth, third, and seventh, right? Always the top half.
Yeah.
Um, she in 11 majors, she has been top five in eight of them. Um, in 11 elite races, she's been top five in eight of them.
Yeah.
In two of those that she wasn't top five, one, she basically had a broken ankle, and the other, she got COVID like the week before. And so, I mean, no excuses. You're out there to race. You go out and race, and it becomes a item on the stat sheet, right? But to say she's inconsistent or hasn't done anything in the sport, like Vivian is. always and has been a top five athlete. She was the person that everybody was like, oh, she's fourth place. It's Vivian. She's competing. She's fourth. She finally broke that, got third at Worlds, like, and she has been misconsistent. Like, she took second in Hamburg. She didn't go to Melbourne. She doesn't usually make that long travel around there. She's a job, I believe she's an actuary or something. So she will be in Phoenix. I'm excited. I think the podium is. I think it's going to be a shocker. I think it's going to go Lauren, Vivian, Joe. Um, but I think Jess and or Emily have a shot at
Yeah.
hitting the podium. And I
Yeah.
believe Jess has really stepped up her game this year as well to
Yeah, I
secure
mean,
one of these spots.
Jess looked so strong in both races in Melbourne, um, especially the doubles, I have to say. Obviously, Sinead and I spent 50 however many minutes chasing them, and that Aussie team, obviously on home turf and coming off the back of some incredible results the day before, really strong. Like their
Yeah.
running was very fast. And if Jess can bring that or continue to bring that into her solo races, she's going to be a problem.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. I like, and I think right? Like sharpens iron. Joe and Jess are a great team and they get to run together, which just shows I think both of them can learn from the other one about like, hey, how they're racing and competing.
Yeah.
As they race doubles, it helps improve your solo, which I'm excited for Lauren and Vivian to do too.
Yeah.
As I'm sure you and Sinead do as well.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I can't wait until all three of those teams are on the same
Yeah, I know.
course. That's
That's
going to
going to
be
be
exciting.
a race. Yeah.
All right. Do you want to do doubles real fast or men?
I don't mind. You say.
Let's go to the men first,
Let's do mine.
because I'll get the doubles up here after. So just to read off the men in order, still in the Rocks Life post. So in order, James Kelly, good job. Alex Ronkovic, John Wynn, Dylan Scott. Those are your auto qualifiers. Time qualifiers, Emilio Aguayo, Sean Noble, Thomas Turdvik, Rich Ryan, Cole Learn, Luke Greer, Josh Van Zeelen, Charlie Botterill, Louis Oslauer, Alan Ploy, and Bo Wills. Before we start, something that popped in my head here, just referencing back to the point system, you're an auto qualifier. They're removing the auto qualifiers. How do you feel about that?
I think it's good. And to be honest, I think even though they're removing the official like thing of being an auto qualifier, there will be a certain number of points that basically guarantees you are qualified for all the majors. For
If you're over
example,
525.
yeah, like there's only one person in the world that could potentially have the maximum number of points if you were to win all four majors, your regional like and worlds. Then you would have the maximum possible points, but
Hmm.
it's not even guaranteed that one person does that. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, there is still a way to technically get an auto qualifier. It's just not called an auto qualifier anymore. So, if you really want that, then it's possible. But as far as I'm concerned, I think I have an auto qualifier this season, but even if I didn't, I would still be in the lineup and I would have been for all three major all three majors so far, and I wouldn't have had to go out of my way to get that. So yes, it's nice to have the security, but my average would still have put me in the top 15 throughout the season
Yeah.
so far. So as far as I'm concerned, it's kind
So
of
even, I mean, yeah, basically your average is what is it like a 160 at this
28,
point, it's like a 60-25. Um 60
28.
26. Yeah. So you'd be basically sitting even ahead of Emily Dahlman. You'd be sitting in eighth place. And if it was just time. And
Yeah.
actually, because you wouldn't be ahead of yourself, you'd be sitting in seventh place. Uh, so, all right. On to the men real fast. Um, Storylines here. There are three men in this race that are already qualified, which means 12 men racing for a qualifying spot. Those three men already qualified are Alex Ronkovic, who set the world record in Hamburg, who was closely followed by Dylan Scott, and then Charlie, who made the podium in Melbourne for that third spot in that wonderful wall ball battle. We get to see him back out on the course, and he just ran another race in Manchester.
He did, yeah. He loves a race, Charlie.
I love that. I love that like he's out there racing all the time. I think the sport's better for athletes like that.
Yeah, I mean, Charlie's from a professional cycling background, and obviously it's very much a sport where you race yourself fit. He's used to the race volume, and also he's very measured and very sure of himself and what the kind of purpose of each race he does is. So, yeah, he knows when it's time to go 100% all in, max effort, and he knows when he's racing a training run. And, he's okay with that. He's okay with, not having the best possible result on a day because he went out to do a tempo run or to try something new or whatever it is.
Hey,
And yeah,
he's
it's
he's
good
out
to
there
see.
doing training runs, snapping up points from all the Englishmen.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
So, all right, let's just take a look here. Outside, let's do the same thing we do with the women. Who's the biggest threat for those three spots? Outside for the three qualifying spots outside of Alex, Dylan, and Charlie because they're already qualified.
Yeah.
Do you have on this one as well four people that you're looking at?
I mean, looking down the list, obviously James, I'd love to see him take a spot. I know he didn't have the result he wanted in Melbourne. But I know, you guys worked together to adjust a couple of things over the last kind of period since Melbourne. And yeah, I really, really hope it's kind of working and paying off for him. And, I hope to see him take a spot. I think when James is in good shape, he's got it. So
Yeah,
you have to look
he's.
at Glasgow last year.
I just have to say we had our one-to-one today. He's in a much better spot right now, 3 days out from Phoenix than he was out from Melbourne. Um, I think that he's dialed, feeling the right things, in a good headspace, feeling good. I really think like he's there to line up and he's there to um he's not gonna risk losing the qualifying spot to go for the win, but if it presents itself, he'll do it.
Yeah, for sure. I
And
think,
this is the JK
yeah,
that ran Cologne. This is the JK that ran Worlds and ran Glasgow. Like
yeah,
this, he's the one that ran Hong Kong last year. He's dialed, and I think
yeah,
the difference in who's in the race and just with the confidence he has right now, he he is. I think he gets a qualifying spot, and I think he's going to put himself on the podium, if not on top of the podium.
yeah. I hope so. I would love to see that for him. And yeah, I think it kind of echoes me from Hamburg. And like how I was feeling going into that race. And I said to you, look, I really have a bad feeling about this one. I'm just not sure it's going to happen for me. And we all know what happens. We don't need to go into that. And yeah, I fought a mental battle going into Melbourne. But ultimately I arrived on race day or a few days out thinking, okay, this is it. I can do this now. So yeah, it's good to hear that he's in a similar place, and yeah, hopefully he
I,
puts it together.
and just as a coach, I think I learned from actually you going through that Hamburg experience where like, I mean, you and I talked when I was in London, you and I talked leading up to Hamburg, like I was like, oh, she's on top of the world. She's gonna crush Hamburg. Like I was like, she's got her spot. And then like it obviously didn't go um I don't want to say it went bad, it just didn't go great.
Yeah,
And then
just
you ended
wasn't the
up in the
result we wanted.
hospital and I
Yeah,
realized, oh hey, it didn't go well. Um but going from that into the calm, collected race you had in Melbourne, where you put yourself on the podium, that was just a learning cycle both ways. And JK, he's gone through something similar. Just going like that was hard going from Melbourne, taking a
yeah,
12th there. And then I really do think, I don't think he'll listen to this before his race. So I think this is his, I don't want to jinx him or anything, but like this is going to be a comeback race for him.
yeah,
Where I don't like the idea of a statement race or anything, but he's gonna race. his own way,
Yeah.
the way he can, and he knows how, and he's got the fitness too. And he's taken a couple knocks the last month or before that, the month before Melbourne and everything. This is gonna right the ship.
Yeah. I hope so.
So leaning into that though, I do think that there are very strong competition, and then I just look at the very center of the of this race of
Yeah.
the times here, like between Sean Noble, Thomas Turdvik, who took fifth just behind JK and Hamburg and has always been strong, Rich Ryan, Cole Learn, and Josh Van Zeeland. Like,
Yeah.
I think that is such a powerful lineup.
There are so
I
many strong names. There are
Yeah,
so many.
I think that's five. I think that's five positions. Actually, I want
Yeah.
to throw Bo Wills in there too because Bo he comes on too at the beginning of the year, taking third in Vegas last year, and then the year before that he took third in um, where did he take third? Was that Vienna or was it DC? Like he comes on and he podiums at these races too, and I think Bo has a real shot, but that middle of the race there. Um, Sean Noble performs out of his mind. He did post that he had a grade two calf strain. So
Yeah.
little don't know where that's going to be niggles wise. Rich Ryan's coming out of he's posted a couple possible like things that have bugged
Yeah.
him. Plus he had a kid, and I know what going through that is like the first
Yeah.
couple months. Um, but you're looking at like not a lot of travel really for Cole Learn. It's like East Coast to Phoenix. But yeah, I think it's going to be a really good battle. I'm hoping JK pulls away from that battle and lets everybody else fight for the other two spots.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think it's going to be a close battle. And I think we see in the men's race a lot more than the women's, like a close battle. I think in the women's, we tend to see kind of whoever's going to take it pull away in the first half of the race. And, you might have races within the race where you kind of have two people fighting for a position, or maybe, often you see it in the wall balls where there's maybe three or four women trying to get the last one or two qualifying spots. But you don't see these like intense back and forth battles the entire way between like a pack of maybe five men, as you do in the men's. I think, yeah, it makes for a really exciting watch. And I think, yeah, there's so many names in there that I'm not sure I can call the qualifying spots.
Yeah, I'm gonna bold prediction here. I think there's gonna be five men within five wall balls of each other at the 90 to 95 rep range with
Oh,
two spots on the line.
okay. Let's see
It's
it.
gonna be intense. HYROX is
Yeah.
gonna eat it up. They're gonna love it, like the drama of the battle. Yeah, I could see that. Like Josh, Cole, Rich, Thomas, Sean, just like two spots left on the line, and only two of them are gonna get it, and they're 90 to 95 wall balls, all of them. And it's really gonna come down to who's got the cleanest reps, who's
Yeah.
cycling the fastest at that point and doesn't break.
Yeah. I think it's going to be intense. I really do. And yeah.
And then Bo's gonna come out of
Genuinely.
nowhere with his
Yeah.
100 broken and
Yeah.
pass him.
No, I struggle to call it. I really do. I think it's going to
It's
be a good
hard.
watch.
All right. What about calling the podium?
I mean, I'm looking forward to the rematch between Alex and Dylan.
Yeah.
Like, they're both super strong. I was hoping to see uh Hunter in the mix as well. That would have been a great race to watch. So yeah, sad to see he is not on the lineup. That being said, I think, you know, that's going to be a battle. Both of Alex and Dylan were not in Melbourne. So it's a little bit of an unknown. Um, yeah, I think if I was betting, I would put them both on the podium. But obviously we've just spoken about JK and the place that he's in as well. So, I want to call that as the podium, but at the same time, there's so many names in there and there's so much potential for upset and shake-ups and people to have a repeat of what we saw on the Woobles at
Yeah.
Melbourne and at many other races. So yeah.
Um, so I'm gonna this is gonna break my heart, but I want to say that I'm gonna call the podium as JK, Ronk, and Dylan, like not necessarily that order, but those three.
Yeah,
And the reason I say it's gonna break my heart is like I want Charlie to do really well.
I
Uh,
know.
but he's flying over from Europe. He
Yeah.
just ran a race. Um, I think he finishes top five, but I don't know if he breaks into the podium. I think this is going to be a very hot race.
Yeah, I think it's going to be close. And there are people that Charlie's never raced in this race. He's one of my best friends. He's my mixed doubles partner. Um, I love to see him do well. And yeah, I really, really want to see him do well. Um, but it's going to be so tough. I would not want to be
Yes.
Charlie in this race. I wouldn't want to be anyone in this race. Um, but yeah, I think I would love to see him get on the podium. And I think it's open. Like I said, it comes down to the wall balls, and in the men's, so often we see someone look so sure of a spot and they fall apart after the 90th rep. So like we've just said, I think it's going to be really, really close, and I think there's going to be at least one upset. Um,
Oh, there's gonna be an upset no matter who wins. You could call it an upset, but I don't think it actually is. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. These guys are separated by such small margins.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I'll call it though. I think JK, he's won a major in Europe. He's won a major in APAC. I think he finally gets a major win in America. Um, I think Dylan comes out in second, and Ronkovic comes out in third. I think Ronkovic's obviously one of the fittest, but this travel this way is not always easy for Europeans.
I think really this is the race where it's going to be a tight battle between the men, and I think because of the nature of how it's going to be and how it feels to be in that position where, you have one major left off this one. Yeah, you've got the regionals, but you got to win there.
Yeah,
And it's going to be, especially for the Europeans, tough.
yeah.
Um, I would not want to have it on the line in London.
No.
And
That's
yeah, I
hard.
think
Like I wouldn't if anybody, I would not be counting on your
no,
regional race to get your
no,
place.
no,
There is
no.
one spot. Like you have to have the race of your life, and not everybody's
Yeah,
going to. And you could have the race of your life and still not end up with the spot. So I
yeah,
would say and we'll talk about this, but going into the regional race, you guys like that's got to be. I'm gonna row out there and race my best, but I don't expect to get this qualifying spot because it's only going to one person. Don't put your hopes in that.
yeah. I think because of how it feels to be in this race now, knowing that like time's running out to get your qualifying spot, I think this is the one where experience prevails and
Yeah.
having a steady head and sure of yourself and having raced multiple Elite 15 races before, that is gonna be really, really valuable.
All
So,
right.
you
Who are your
know,
three men qualifiers?
James, um, God, it's so tough. I mean, Sean has had so many near misses, but he's had another injury, and I just don't know how that's going to affect him. So I don't think I can say that he's going to qualify, although I know if he listens to this, he's going to damn well want to prove me wrong. So,
He'll race well with a chip on his shoulder. I mean, he
yeah,
raced
I
well
really
in
think so.
Glasgow last year after an injury in Vegas.
Yeah, I
So
know. I think, you can't look past Josh Van Zeeland in, Melbourne. Uh he had an incredible race. He just fell apart in the wobbles. But if he puts that together and has the race that he did in Melbourne again, I think he's a very, very strong contender. Um, I don't know. It's tough to call.
yeah. So okay, we'll say Lucy's are JK, Sean, and JVZ.
But then you have Cole as well.
Yeah.
You
So
have Bo.
here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say JK, but I'm gonna say the hometown traveling is beneficial. So I'm gonna say Cole Learn and Rich Ryan um,
Yeah, and you
are
have
the other
Rich.
two
You have Rich.
qualifiers.
I don't have the lineup in front of me now, so it's making it really tough.
Um,
But yeah,
and
you
that's
have Rich
not to
with that.
discount like there are other guys like I said, I think it's going to come down to five men and those wall balls, but the less travel I think works. I do think Bo gets a
Yeah.
qualifying spot, but I think Bo ends up taking it in Brisbane at his regional
Yeah,
if he
I
doesn't
think
get it here.
yeah, I think JK takes it here, and then that leaves
Yeah,
it kind of open
that's
to, I guess, either Bo or John in that regional. But then they're both European based. I don't know what passports they have, so I don't know what region they're
New
restricted
Zealand
to.
and Australia.
Okay, so
So
they both have to if they're going to
yeah, they got to
race.
go to they got to go to
But
Brisbane.
then Phoenix is like immediately after. So which basket do you put your eggs in?
Oh, Brisbane or Warsaw?
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, it's 50-50 for them. If JK gets a spot here, it's a no-brainer to go to Brisbane, I'd
Yeah, yeah,
say.
yeah, of course.
Uh, all right. I know you got to go soon, so we don't have to go deep into the doubles. I didn't want to leave out anybody, but like Luke Greer, Louis Oslauer, and Alan Ploy. I just don't know a lot about them. I think some of those guys are rookies into this field, and I think it's really hard as a rookie
Yeah.
to know or understand what the pace of not just the running but the stations are. And the reason I really like JK for this race actually is because, like we said, this is not your side course like the elites have been the last two. This is within a pro race, and there is nobody better in the rock zone, and this looks like a big rock zone. So I think JK gets an edge in this
Yeah.
race.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is going to be the one where experiences.
Oh, you can keep talking.
Okay.
I was just had to go press a button.
Fine.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the one where experience is going to be so valuable.
Yeah,
Um,
I do too.
and that this race experience and travel experience, or not having to travel as far. I think the factors that are going to decide this race are going to be anything but your fitness on the day.
Oh yeah. You guys are all
Obviously,
fit. You guys are all
obviously it
fit.
plays a role, but everyone's
Yeah.
fit. Anyone can be fit enough to take it. I think all the factors that determine this one are not fitness.
Yeah. All right. So the rest of Phoenix, I mean, there are so many cool storylines. I just saw that the start list is up and I'm excited to dive into that, but there's 14 pages of start list women and the men also. So that's going to be a great pro race. But real fast, favorites on the doubles, men and women, real quick to qualify and to go for it. Obviously, my team I'm going to pick is Lauren and Vivian on the women's side. Um, they're fantastic. Like they literally threw together Vancouver on like I don't think people understand. It was like 3 days like beforehand. We're like, oh crap, you got to go. Um, and we're like, Vivian, she's on the phone with Vivian. Can you meet me in Vancouver? Like, can we get there? And Vivian took a 16-hour flight with layovers to get to Vancouver from the east coast of the US. To get there, they raced together, they left. Like, it was wild. It was a whirlwind.
Yeah,
Just trying
that's
to get like
crazy.
and it became like a sense of urgency realizing that that was the only race they'd be able to do when we learned that like hey Lauren Griffiths she's gonna be out for a little while it turned into like okay well how are we gonna do this okay you guys can go to Vancouver and they went up there, broke the world record, and Vivian had just got off a 16-hour flight. They weren't there very long. Lauren's family was actually flying into town, so she's out racing in Vancouver, and I'm picking her family up from the airport, and they're staying here until she gets back the next day, like
Yeah,
because it was Christmas time. So it was wild and fun. I think they take it. I Joanna and Jess. I don't think there's anybody else um, and not to like discount the rest of the field, but those two teams are separated right now from the rest of this
yeah.
doubles field.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a battle. I think ultimately, Lauren and Vivian have home turf advantage, and they got the world record.
Yeah,
And I think they take it. But I think it's going to be a good race to watch. And I wish Sinead and I were in the mix because I think that would be an awesome three-way battle.
I
Um,
agree.
but we're going to see it. So yeah, we're just going to have to wait a little bit longer.
So
Yeah,
I think Lauren and Vivian take a qualifying spot here. I'm hoping they do. Like that's the main goal is just qualifying spot.
yeah,
Um, looking at the other teams going to be in this, Manuela and Seca got the roll down from Melbourne, so they're in.
Yeah,
They're going to be competing. I still think they're a great team as well. I think Danelle and Vicky also, who got a qualifying spot in Melbourne, will
yeah,
also be in the
yeah,
race.
yeah.
So they're going to be performing
I've got the
well.
start list up here. It is on HYROX World
Oh, is
Instagram.
it? Did they
Yeah.
just post it? Perfect. So
Um,
looking at then the other, I'll go to HYROX World.
there are
Um,
only 12 women's teams starting.
Yeah, I heard that like they rolled down to like 80th place and the other like there wasn't they didn't accept invites like and they weren't going to roll past that.
Yeah.
Um so we're looking at okay, perfect. Joanna and Jess, Manuel and Seca, Danelle and Vicky, Kat Fossbender and Morgan Schultz. They're not qualified. They're both local to the US. I think they have a really good shot. Oh, look, Melanie and Jen, they are in this. I'm
Yeah.
excited. These again are my two athletes, Gloria and Camilla.
Yeah.
So I think they're ready. I think they're gonna put on a show too. But a team that I think everybody needs to kind of look out for is gonna be Viola and Yana.
Yeah, I know. Jana just had a great race in
And Viola too.
Switzerland. And
Yeah.
Yeah, and Viola.
St. Helena
Um,
or Saint
Saint
something.
uh Saint Gallen, Saint Helen. I
Saint
don't know how you
Saint Gallen. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know how you pronounce it. But yeah, it's yeah, they had a great race. That was fast. And yeah, I think Yana has she took a step back for a while. But I saw her run a pretty fast half marathon a few months back. I think it was a similar time that I ran mine and like a similar time of year, but I think it was fast. I think it was about an hour and 20. And I think she's gone away and she's taken some time to work on what she needed to, and I think she's coming back and she looks really strong.
Good.
So
I,
yeah,
I'm I'm excited for her.
I
I think
think
it's gonna be great.
it's pairing to watch, and yeah, I think there'll be a good battle for third place here. So yeah, I think it's going to be yeah, it's going to be a good battle to watch for third, and it's going to be good to see who takes the qualifying spots.
Yeah, I agree. Um, real fast. I know you gotta go. This is running long for you. So
Yeah, I'm good though. It's okay.
okay. All right, you just tell me if we gotta go. So top three and three qualifiers.
Top three, Lauren and Vivian, Joanna and Jess. I just don't know for the third pair. I think Kat
I'm
and
gonna.
Morgan are going to be like ones to watch. They've
Oh
had some
yeah.
good results and they're on home turf, so I'm calling it. I think the Americans.
Okay. I'm gonna go with the podium, Lauren Vivian, Joanna Jess, Gloria Camilla. I think they get up there,
Yeah,
the Italians on that podium, which means my qualifiers are Lauren Vivian, Gloria Camilla, and then I'm gonna go too with Kat and Morgan. I think they take that third qualifying spot.
yeah. I think it's so hard to discount Yana and Viola.
Yeah,
Um,
it's hard. The only reason I'm taking the Italians is I'll say this. They ran their doubles time uh the weekend after Camilla had already raced in Maastricht.
yeah.
And then they ran it in Rome, which was that indoor outdoor venue.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I was talking to Camilla. She was struggling and had Gloria doing 70% plus of the work in their
Wow.
doubles
Okay.
race, and they still hit a time that qualified them for this. So I think they have a lot of room for improvement in their race and their race strategy, which I think will put them over the top and up on that podium.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
So, um, all right. Men, they don't have this up right now, but the men's lineup, there's four big teams, we'll call it, right, that are competing. There's JK and Jake Dearden, who won the last major. There's Hunter and Jake Williamson, who are going for the world record. There's the world record holders, Paleo and Rich. And
Yeah.
then there's Dylan Scott and Stephen Pelkafor. I think those are the big four teams. Without being able to see the lineup, I would say those are probably the heavyweights in this battle.
Yeah.
Do you have any
Yeah.
other teams that you would add? I mean, maybe Charlie and Ollie too.
And I don't believe they're racing.
Oh, if they're not racing, then yeah. So,
They're not
um,
racing.
yeah, I mean, do you have any idea out of those four? I think, all
I
four of those
mean,
teams, with the
yeah.
exception of Steven Pelkafor and Dylan Scott, have gone under 50.
Yeah, yeah, I think Rich and Pillow, Jake and Hunter, and yeah, Stephen and Dylan take the three spots. Um, yeah, I think
As the
those
qualifier
three,
spots.
yeah, those three pairs take the three qualifying spots. I don't think I can see anyone really that's going to challenge them to that. And I think it's going to be a close battle for the podium. Jake and Hunter have been training together. And they nearly broke that world record. And I think Jake was sick or not on form the day that they raced, I think. And I know that he wants it. He's trying to, well, he's been training really hard. And, when Jake's in really good shape, he is an incredible doubles partner, an incredible athlete. And I think, I put them on the podium. Um,
So, so I was curious about that because I watched Hunter's video. I think I watched Jake Williamson's video on YouTube too about their doubles race. And was it Hunter was like dragging Jake to
yeah,
make him ill, or was he ill going into the race?
I think actually, I don't know. I think he definitely didn't feel his best on the day. Like
Okay.
something was off. Um, I've seen Jake race when Jake has a good day and when he's, in shape and on form. And yeah, I mean, I obviously did not watch that race like in person, but yeah, if Jake said something was off, then I have no doubt that he wasn't, where he could be. So I'm excited to see where he is when he's kind of in top shape.
Yeah.
And they've been training together, so I have no doubt that he's going to bring that.
Here's my question because I was at Chicago Worlds, and right in front of me is where Rich and Paleo stopped, where Paleo had his issue that's kept him out. So those guys, when they race, they're not going to be the ones that take the lead at the start. And in this doubles race, there's a lot of meat on the line here. Uh, these guys are big, and
Yeah,
it's usually like if you're not in the top three or four, you kind of get boxed out going into the first couple runs, the first couple stations. Um, do you think that they'd be able to pull off a win if they're not trying to lead this out? Because we know Hunter and Jake are going to try to lead this out from the start.
yeah, I think it's going to be tough. I think this race is going to go out fast, and I think to stay in the mix, you kind of have to.
So
Um,
what I mean there is, do Hunter and Jake match up well to beat Rich and Paleo, or because I agree with you. I think those three teams are going to be the qualifying teams. I think Jake, Hunter, Rich, Paleo, and Dylan and Steven are the teams that will qualify. I think uh, I think Jake and JK keep one of those teams off the podium though.
yeah, yeah, I
Um,
agree. I just don't know who. I
I
think,
don't know who, but the way that the race like will start and stuff, and with the more experience that Jake and JK have gotten, I think they're going to be battling, and I think Rich and Play are going to have to master something that's come from behind,
yeah,
which is going to be really hard.
yeah, I agree.
It's
Uh,
not insurmountable, but I think if they just get boxed out one time, it can cost them some seconds, some extra
yeah,
energy to have to run around a team. If there's a bottleneck coming out that out arch and there's two other teams there, like it could just really kind of mess up a race and cost them.
yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree with everything you're saying. I think it's going to be exciting to watch. I think there's, again, a lot of uncertainties, and I think it's going to be another race where experience prevails in, racing doubles and racing as a pair and being sure of your strategy. It's becoming more and more important because we have doubles pairs that are training together specifically for doubles and racing more and doing more simulations, and you can't just throw two really good solo athletes together and wing it anymore. It's
That's
it's
right.
becoming more and more tactical, and yeah, it's becoming more necessary to know what you're doing together, and be able to play your cards right in that race, not just go as hard as you can and combine your strengths.
Yeah,
It's a little bit more tactical now.
exactly. I
So
guess one thing I didn't say is Marco Nikček and Alexis Bernier did really well in Melbourne too. They started out really fast. I think they get hit with a few penalties in the center, which
yeah,
makes me think, how many penalties are we going to see, and will this race be decided by penalties?
I mean, I hope not. But it's we still see some scrappy racing. And in the heat of battle, it's really easy, especially in the doubles when there's fast transitions, and uh it's easy to slip up. So I hope not, but we always see penalties flying around, and we saw a lot less in Melbourne than we did in Hamburg. But I have no doubt that there might be something.
Yeah. All right. I'm excited to see it. How many of the men's teams go below 49? There's only ever been three teams to break 49 before, and two of them are in this race.
It depends on the course.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
depends on
that's
the course.
that's true. Horses, not courses. That's the whole point of the point system, right?
Exactly.
All right. Anything else you want to add to this is what's becoming a big, exciting weekend in Phoenix, really. Um, a lot going on. If anybody doesn't know, there's a ton going on. We are going to have a shakeout run on Saturday at 11 a.m. The women's race starts at 1:30 p.m. Pro race for the normal pro, not the Elite 15. That's on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. local time, 9 o'clock for the men's race p.m. And Friday will be the doubles, same time, 7:30 p.m. for the doubles women, 9 p.m. for the doubles men local time. And like I said, Saturday we are doing the 11 a.m. shakeout run, meet by the Pat Tillman statue outside the arena. And there is also I'm going to race.
Let's go.
I have a solo men's ticket. Um,
Let's go.
I kind of hurt my back last week, so and I've been doing my thresholds on the elliptical instead of the treadmill because of it. So there is a chance that if it is aggravated during this week or the standing around or the other things I do, I might pull out of that. But right now, I still have my ticket.
Well, fingers crossed for you.
Yeah.
I am
If not,
excited.
I'm still planning on Vegas doing two races.
Yeah.
Um, but I would really like to run in this stadium. I've been a Seattle Seahawk fan football for since like 1996, 1997. We had some rough years there. Um,
Sorry,
I'm from the Pacific Northwest.
I've just seen Tom off camera run into the room on hearing you say that with a very
Oh,
negative expression.
a negative expression.
Yeah.
So I'm from the Pacific Northwest. I've lived in Seattle. I've lived in Portland and all over Oregon. I was born in Oregon. Um, so that's been our team. And we just made the Super Bowl. Yeah. Uh, so I'm really excited. We're going to get the opportunity to beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl on the 40 Winers.
He's happy about that. He's happy about you. Do you have anything to say? Do you want to come?
And I get to go run a HYROX race on the Cardinals stadium.
I thought you were a good guy. I can't believe you're a Seahawks fan.
Of course, I'm a Seahawks fan. There's no better team.
49ers?
Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to say I've been to three games at Candlestick Park. I lived in the East Bay of that area. So I lived in East Bay. I lived in Emeryville for like 10 months. I'll tell you after we stop recording. I'll tell you some things about those 40 whiners. I'm sure there's a lot of fans out there just mad at me now, but whatever. We're going to the Super Bowl. So anyway, thank you for jumping on, Lucy.
Yeah, no
Appreciate
worries.
it. I know you gotta go. Thank you everyone for listening to our preview. Back to coaching topics next week, hopefully with my newly qualified co-host of JK after he has an exciting weekend.
Yes, let's hope so.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Thank you for listening to the Hybrid Coaching Podcast. If you'd like to reach out to us about coaching or programming, you can find us on Fitter, either James Kelly, Hybrid Coaching, or the Hybrid Engine. You can also find us on Instagram at jk.jameskelly or at the Hybrid Engine. If you'd like to get in contact with us, you can also message us on either of those platforms or send us an email at thehybridcoachingpodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's hybridcoachingpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful day.